They are spoiler-free reviews of the newest films. Vaughn on Movies.
Hi, welcome to Vaughn on Movies. I'm your host Vaughn Fry, the world's toughest movie critic. Recently, I saw Alice in Wonderland, so you don't have to. Alice Kingsley, Mia Wasikowska, is a 19-year-old young woman with a vivid imagination. On the day where she is intended to be engaged to a less than dashing nobleman, Alice sees a rabbit and decides to chase it, sending her crashing down a hole and into the enchanted world of Wonderland. Many of the creatures of this land are anthropomorphic. We see talking rabbits, mice, a variety of things. Alice is soon informed of a prophecy that states that she is the only one capable of slaying a dragon-like creature called the Jabberwocky, which is under the control of the evil Red Queen, Helena Bonham Carter. Joining her on her quest are some of her old friends, whom she has conveniently forgotten, and leading the way is the Mad Hatter, Johnny Depp, a lunatic who enjoys tea. This is a quasi-official sequel to a very different movie which is nearing 60, and as the title suggests, it has an identity crisis. Using the same title as the animated film is confusing enough, but spending the bulk of our time questioning whether or not this is the Alice from that movie is nothing short of insulting. If you have any intention of being in this movie's audience, then you already know that this is the real Alice. Still, kudos to director Tim Burton for taking on a film that isn't a remake for a change. Chances are you remember at least a few of the characters from previous variants. If you don't, then prepare to be lost. This is a world of vivid color and imagination. I get that things don't have to add up, but the actions that should ground a human character such as Alice are completely thrown out the window. For example, there's a scene where she has to sneak past a fierce creature called the Bandersnatch to retrieve a case. Well, it turns out the case is locked, so she does the most logical thing, she falls asleep. Move over Kristen Stewart, the world now has Mia Wasikowska. She's a relative newcomer, so I should be merciful, but through the entire film, she has the charisma of celery. It's as though she's camera shy, turning in the most lifeless performance of the year thus far, at least until the premiere of Eclipse. Naturally, we have a better supporting cast, Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, and a unrecognizable Crispin Glover turn in strong performances. Before I give out my final score, I have to give a shout out to Busky3 for answering this week's Pop Quiz Hotshot Trivia question. Also have to give a shout out to Denise Carlisle for providing that question. Be sure to look for those on Twitter, Sundays, midnight Central Time. Conclusion, you are going to get what is now the norm for Disney live-action production values. It's big, it's expensive, it's good-looking. Costumes, makeup, visual effects are all very appealing, but when combined with this story and the lead actress, you get nothing short of a half-hearted spectacle. Oh, and guess what? I didn't see it in 3D. Once you've paid extra a few times for heavy plastic glasses and distracting visuals, you've met your quota. Besides, no one looks at a traditional film and complains that the characters exist in a two-dimensional plane. And if you've already seen some 3D movies, you know that your brain looks past the illusion within an hour, or you get a headache. Alice in Wonderland should be a children's film, but it's too violent and mean-spirited for the tiniest of tykes, while the fantasy elements don't appeal towards older kids. It lacks humor, a general sense of fun, and is in desperate need of some songs to tie the action together. I'm quite disenchanted. 1.5 stars. I'll see you guys next time. Hey, thanks for sticking around for my final segment. I just want to say something to director Tim Burton. Tim, if you're listening, you may remember the 80s where you came up with some very imaginative films. Many of these were original. In the case of Batman, you took something and you did something entirely different with it, and that's good. I'd just like to see you go back to doing your own thing instead of re-envisioning other people's movies.